hallway of Lincoln High School shuddered under a sudden, oppressive silence, the clatter of lockers fading into a distant hum as a sharp, heart-wrenching snap sliced through the air. Mia Torres, a frail-looking 17-year-old with dark shoulder-length hair and wide, glistening brown eyes, stood paralyzed, her breath catching in her throat. At her feet lay the shattered remnants of a silver locket, its delicate heart-shaped frame broken in two, the pieces glinting coldly on the tiled floor. Surrounding her, a jeering crowd tightened like a noose, led by Jake Hensley, a towering senior with a cruel smirk and a football player's build, who dangled the ruined necklace with a mocking laugh. "Check out the baby crying over dead mom's junk," he taunted, his voice dripping with disdain. The students erupted, their phones raised like vultures, capturing every tear that streaked Mia's face. But beneath her trembling exterior, a dormant fire flickered, a secret strength honed in the shadows of her past, ready to transform this corridor into a battleground of retribution. Mia had always been the school's invisible girl, her slight frame and downcast eyes marking her as an easy target. 2 years ago, her life had unraveled when her mother, Lila Torres, succumbed to a relentless battle with cancer, leaving behind a void that swallowed her laughter and light. The locket, a final gift from Lila, was Mia's lifeline, a silver heart engraved with her mother's initials, its worn edges whispering memories of bedtime stories and the faint scent of her mother's perfume. Since then, Mia had drifted through school, her grief a silent companion, her classmates seeing only weakness. Today, that weakness was exploited as Jake snatched the locket from her neck during a crowded passing period, snapping it with a vicious twist. "Let it go, freak," he sneered, tossing the pieces at her feet. The hallway buzzed with cruel whispers, the air thick with the metallic tang of fear and the sharp sting of teenage malice. Doubt clawed at Mia's chest. Could the girl who once hid in the library now face this humiliation? Her knees buckled, her vision blurring with tears, as the crowd's laughter swelled, pushing her toward a breaking point. What no one knew was that Mia's life held a hidden strength, a chapter buried deep beneath her quiet demeanor. After Alina's death, her father Carlos Torres, a retired Marine with a weathered face and a voice like gravel, had sought to anchor his daughter's grief. He enrolled her in Master Chen's martial arts dojo, a modest space filled with the scent of sweat and polished wood, where the stern but compassionate master saw potential in her small frame. Under Chen's guidance, Mia transformed. Her kicks grew sharp, her punches precise, and by her 16th birthday, she earned a black belt in Taekwondo, her body a vessel of disciplined power. Yet, fearing it would draw more attention to her vulnerability, she concealed this skill, letting it simmer beneath her shy exterior. Now, as Jake's foot nudged the locket's broken halves closer, the memory of endless dojo drills flooded back. The sting of a bruised shin, the rhythm of her breaths, the mantra of resilience Chen had drilled into her. Her fists clenched, her stance shifted instinctively, but fear held her rooted, the crowd's jeers a deafening roar in her ears. The tension snapped like a taut bowstring when Jake stepped closer, his smirk widening as he shoved her shoulder with a meaty hand. "Gonna run to your dead mom for help," he jeered, his voice a venomous lash. The hallway fell into a stunned hush, the air crackling with anticipation, every eye fixed on the trembling girl. Mia's gaze dropped to the locket, its shattered pieces a mirror to her fractured spirit, and something deep within her ignited. A low, primal growl rumbled from her throat, barely audible over the crowd's murmurs, as she straightened, her body sliding into a fighter's stance, feet planted, knees bent, hands raised with quiet authority. Before anyone could react, her leg larphically executed roundhouse kick that struck Jake's chest with a resounding thud. He staggered back, a choked gasp escaping as he slammed into the lockers, his laughter replaced by a stunned wheeze. Chaos erupted like a storm breaking loose. Two of Jake's cronies, bulky linebacker types named Tyler and Matt, lunged forward, their faces twisted with rage spurred by the shock of their leader's fall. But Mia moved like a force of nature, her training taking over with surgical precision. Her fist jabbed into Tyler's stomach, doubling him over with a groan, while her foot swept Matt's legs from under him, sending him crashing to the tile with a heavy thud. The crowd gasped, phones dropping as the scene unfolded with cinematic intensity. Blood trickling from Tyler's split lip, a purple bruise blooming on Matt's cheek, the sound of scuffling feet and pained cries filling the air. Within moments, the hallway was a tableau of defeated bodies, the bullies sprawled and groaning, their bravado shattered. Mia stood at the center, her chest heaving, her eyes blazing with a mix of fury and sorrow, the broken locket at her feet a silent witness to her transformation from prey to protector. Teachers burst through the crowd, their voices sharp with urgency as they called for order, the shrill ring of a whistle cutting through the chaos. Paramedics arrived minutes later, stretchers rolling in as Jake clutched his ribs, his breath shallow, while Tyler and Matt moaned, their injuries a testament to Mia's unleashed power. Whispers rippled through the students. Mia wasn't just a grieving girl with a lucky punch. A teacher, lingering at the edge of the scene, overheard her murmuring to herself, piecing together a startling revelation. Her mother, Elena, had been a Marine, teaching Mia basic combat moves during her healthier days, a legacy passed down before cancer stole her strength. The locket, it emerged, bore a tiny engraved Marine Corps emblem, hidden beneath its heart-shaped surface, a symbol of her mother's courage now mirrored in Maya's actions. This twist reframed her strength, not merely trained but inherited, a dormant fire sparked by the desecration of her mother's memory. The aftermath was a whirlwind of consequences. Jake, Tyler, and Matt were stretched out their injuries, broken ribs, concussions, and a bruised ego, landing them in the hospital for days. Mia faced immediate suspension. Her father summoned to the principal's office, a stark room lined with faded posters and the faint smell of coffee. Carlos stood tall, his military posture unyielding, his dark eyes meeting the principal's with quiet defiance. She defended what was sacred, he said, sliding a faded photo of Alina in her Marine uniform across the desk, her smile fierce beneath the camouflage. The school board wavered, torn by protocol and the raw awe of her story, but the incident leaked online, igniting a viral storm. Videos of the fight spread across social media, her black belt prowess earning her the nickname, the Silent Storm, a hashtag that trended as viewers marveled at her courage. Yet, amid the sudden fame, Mia retreated to her locker, kneeling to piece the locket together with trembling fingers, tears streaming down her face as she whispered, "I did it for you, Mom," her voice a fragile thread in the empty hallway. Days later, the school organized an assembly, a rare moment of unity beneath the gym's high ceiling, where the scent of polished wood and anticipation hung heavy. Mia took the stage, her father beside her, his chest swelling with pride as he watched her step into the spotlight. The student body sat in respectful silence, their earlier jeers replaced by a collective reverence. She spoke softly, her voice breaking as she shared her mother's story. The Marine who'd fought battles abroad and at home. The woman who'd taught her to stand tall even as cancer weakened her. "Strength isn't loud," Mia said, her gaze sweeping the crowd, the repair kit gleaming against her chest. "It's in the love we carry and the fights we choose." The applause erupted, a thunderous wave of redemption washing over the room, echoing off the rafters. Jake, recovered and subdued, approached her afterward, his usual swagger gone, offering a shaky apology. "I'm sorry," he mumbled, his eyes avoiding hers. Maya nodded, her acceptance a quiet victory, her triumph extending beyond the physical to the emotional, a reclaiming of her mother's gift and her own power. The days that followed brought a shift in the school's atmosphere. Mia's story inspired a wave of support. Students who'd once ignored her now offered smiles, teachers praised her resilience, and a local veterans group honored her with a certificate, recognizing her as a daughter of a fallen hero. Her father, once a stoic figure of grief, began sharing more stories of Elena, her laughter during leave, her fierce hugs, the way she'd taught Mia to throw a punch before she was 10. These tales wove a richer tapestry around the locket, now a symbol not just of loss but of legacy. Mia trained again at the dojo, Master Chen nodding approvingly as she executed a flawless kata, her movements a dance of memory and strength. The community rallied, organizing a memorial for Alina, where Mia lit a candle, the flame reflecting in her eyes as she stood tall, no longer the shadow but the light. As dusk settled over Lincoln High, casting long shadows across the empty hallway, Mia walked out with her head held high, the locket a steady weight against her heart. Her father's arm rested on her shoulder, a silent promise of support while the wind carried the faint echo of her mother's voice. Soft, encouraging, eternal. This was more than revenge. It was a daughter's honor, a warrior's redemption, a story etched in every step, every tear, every strike. The school, once a place of torment, now stood as a testament to her rise, a silent witness to the power of love and resilience.